Hello, fellow poker enthusiasts. I'm Joel Smith, your host for The Final Table, the show made by and for weekend warriors, home game heroes, and low-stakes grinders chasing that next big score without quitting their day jobs. Whether you're crushing the 1-2 live games, battling microstakes online, or just trying not to tilt after a bad beat in your buddy's home game, this is your spot. We keep it real, no pro-level GTO solver talk, just practical tips, funny stories, and inspiration from players like you who turned a small buy-in into something memorable. Let's get this started. Welcome, everyone, and please welcome our guest, Tim Jackson. He's a local grinder from the state of New York, here to share stories of his personal poker journey. Thanks for joining us, and how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, let's start this out by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Rochester, New York. I've only been playing for a few years now, but it seems to be going good so far.
How about family? You have family in the area?
Yeah. My mom lives a little bit south of me. My brother lives nearby.
And are they card players too?
My mom is. She's the one who kind of got me into poker. She recommended a book that I read. It is this one right here, The Biggest Bluff by Maria Konnikova. And it's a pretty good read. It's not so much about strategy so much as about her experience becoming a poker player. But my mom recommended it to me. That kind of got me into poker. And then I kind of got her into poker after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what do you think triggered that? Just seeing the success you were enjoying and she wanted to be a part of it?
Yeah. I think she grew up, or she used to work at a bar that had a poker league. And so she saw other people doing it and it looked fun. And then seeing how much fun I was having, she decided to study up on it a bit and join in.
That's really cool. Do you play other card games, or is Texas Hold'em pretty much your focus?
Texas Hold'em is pretty much my focus. I do like playing other games when I get the chance, but I just have really been focusing on poker recently.
Is there any particular moment that you think is what hooked you on Texas Hold'em? Like, was there a tournament at a casino or playing cash game, or just something local? What hooked you on it?
I'm not really sure. I've always liked cards. When I was a kid, I used to do magic tricks, and so I've just always been fascinated by cards. I don't know, it just beat in my blood. Apparently my grandpa was very, very good at cards as well. But
Oh, okay.
he passed away when I was young, so
Hmm.
he never got to pass that on to me.
I see. So you're a bit of a magician. Do they let you deal locally? I think I'd be a little bit worried about that.
They how we do it at the bar leagues is each person deals,
Mhm.
and so yeah, they trust me.
Okay. Good.
I don't ever do anything, so
Okay. Let's talk about your poker tournament experience. I know that you obviously play some FPN. Where do you play and how often?
there's a few bars in Rochester that do the free poker. One is McGinney's on the River. That happens on Sundays. Nashville's is Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I've been playing all three of those nights recently. And they also have another place, main place, on Thursdays. But I figured 4 nights a week might be a bit too much.
Mm-hmm. Do you play online too on the FPN stuff?
Sometimes. When I get the chance, I play the weekly and the monthly, but
Mhm.
that's on Sundays, so sometimes it interferes with the live games.
Sure.
So usually I play a live game, and then if I'm out, I will hop on the weekly.
Are there any other leagues that are in your area, or is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it that I know of. I think there is a couple other around, but I don't really
Okay.
have much information on them.
How about casinos? Do you have casinos nearby? Do you play at any of those?
Delago is about an hour away. That's the closest one. But unfortunately, they don't have tournament poker, and I think that's my preference.
Okay.
I can do cash, but it feels weirder to me personally.
I did a little bit of research on your FPN career so far. It looks to me like you've done pretty well in some of the online stuff, especially some big field events. I noticed that you won a weekly, which had 216 players.
Mhm.
And then more recently, you won the $5,000 poker package in the summer season championship that had 198 players.
Yes, both of
How are
those
you?
were very exciting.
Yeah, how are you navigating big fields like that? Do you have any tips for the folks that are watching?
Um, how I won my first weekly or that first weekly one, I was actually at work, and so I was just a little bit distracted. So I had to, like, get up every now and again, actually do my job, and then I could come back and kinda focus on the poker a bit more. And so just having that little bit of a distraction helps you get out of your head a little bit, I think, and so that would be a recommendation. Just have some music or something else to distract you just a little bit, not too much.
Do you remember anything in particular about the second tournament that you won? Obviously, that was a sweet prize, right? $5,000
Yeah, that
poker
was a sweet
package.
prize. I think when there was, like, 30 people left, I got into first, and then I kinda lost it, but I was still in, like, second or third for quite a while. When there was about 15 people left, there was one other person who got twice as much money as anyone else, and then he just kind of held the lead until it was just me and him heads up. So, once I got in the money, I was thinking, "Cool, I'm in the money." And then once I got into, like, third, I'm like, "I'd be happy with second place." So second or third, and I just wasn't expecting to get first
Mhm.
because the other guy had such a massive lead.
Mhm.
There was at one point I had a little under 200,000, second place had a little over 200,000, and then first had 1,500,000.
Oh, wow.
And
Big.
so I had kind of written first place off. So again, just that little bit of a distraction. I wasn't worried too much because it wasn't mine to lose.
So did you end up taking out the second place players so that you closed that gap some, or how did you start to catch up to that big chip leader?
I got lucky on two hands. I had like king jack, I think, and then I got called by ace queen and I doubled up. And then later I had 10-8 and again just figured, yeah, 10-8 suited, that's good enough. I go all in, I get called by a better hand, and I double up again. I don't remember if I took out second place or not,
Okay.
but those two just lucky hands just even the playing field. And then after that, I just thought to myself, okay, now I have a shot.
Yeah. Do you remember how much of a chip dog you were in the heads up when you finally got there?
I think he had a little over 800,000 and I was like 700,000.
Oh, so it was close by that time.
Yeah, those two lucky hands, both of them were double ups. It, yeah, even the playing field a lot.
Was the heads up battle very long, or was it over quickly?
It wasn't. I suspect that he got a little bit tilted. Um, I managed to. It only lasted like two or three hands. I managed to get queen nine. The flop comes down with a queen and then all diamonds. I didn't have any diamonds, but a queen on the turn, basically. I was like, yeah, if he has the diamonds, good for him. If not, I'm good with trips.
It kind of amazes me how often it seems like, at least from my personal experience, that when you get down to, three-handed or heads up, it just goes so quick sometimes. I mean, a lot of the time, it seems like it just goes quick. Somebody seems to get the momentum, and it just carries all the way through to the end, it seems like.
Yeah. It is always fun when it does last a long time, though. One of my best games, I think, I actually came in second place, but me and the guy that I was playing against, like heads up, we were probably there for over half an hour.
Oh, wow.
And it was just back and forth, and neither of us were giving any ground, and it was just fun.
Was that a local, like an FPN weekly?
That was just one of the bar leagues.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the free games. Yeah.
So with that package that you won, have you played any tournaments because of that
Yes,
package yet? Okay.
yes.
Tell us about that.
Just like last weekend and the weekend before, the WSOP ring circuit event came to Turning Stone. That's about 2 hours from me. And so I figured that's probably the best chance I'd have to use that money. And
Mhm.
so I went out both weekends, got a hotel, and played a bunch of events.
Is this your first time playing a World Series event?
No, last year I played one of the ring events and then one of the smaller events, but I only went out for the one day. I didn't do that well. I got close to the money on the smaller event, but still didn't take anything home. So I was like, okay, maybe when I get more money. And this year I had more money.
What did you learn in that first experience that helped you in the second one?
Um, Whew, they are some good players. The first table that I sat down at, one of the players had a ring. He had won it earlier that week, I think. And then in the second game, I had been playing for a while, and then someone else came to my table who had won a ring. So they are some good players.
How did the second time go for you?
The second time was a bit better. The first week, I the first event I was in was the mini main, $400, and I was off to a really good start. I managed to get 7 knockouts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And I think at one point I was chip leader. Started off with, I want to say, 25,000, and I was up to 300,000 at one point.
Wow.
And
Nice.
then just a couple of bad hands, and I started giving it away. Eventually, I ended up busting 5 from the money. So it
Hmm.
was, or 5 or 6 from the money. It was close, but there was 2 big hands. I would have changed how I would have played those ones. One was a bad bluff, and the other was I was in the small blind. I had 4-5 suited. I was like, sure, we'll get in there. And then I ended up getting a flush, but someone else had a bigger flush. And so I would have liked to not have played that hand. Yeah, so that was a good way to start off the weekend. Even if I didn't make the money, I was like, cool, I can hang with these guys. And
Yeah, and
then,
and that was a big field too. I looked up some stats on that one. That was 523 players, I think, from the
yeah, that sounds
notes
about
that I
right.
found. So a big field again, and
Yeah,
another deep run. Good
yeah.
job.
And then Saturday, I played a couple games. I wasn't as good that day. But then Sunday, I played a 600 Black Bounty tournament, and that one I did much better on.
Tell the
um,
audience what a black bounty tournament is. There might be people that don't know.
yeah, so basically, you pay $600, and 100 of those dollars you get as a bounty chip. And so anyone who knocks you out gets to keep that bounty chip, and it's just pure profit for them. So in that one, I think there was 580-ish people, um, and I managed to get 31st. So
Another nice deep run.
yeah, and that one did pay. I ended up getting paid $1,381.
Very nice.
And over that time, I did knock out 3 people, so I got 3 bounty chips as well. So another
Great.
$300 on top of that.
Great.
I was in with 2 other people from my league that I'm in, and they both managed to make it in the money as well. So that was pretty cool. I did manage to outlast both of them though.
Did you all ride together out there?
No.
Okay.
I was there by myself most of the time. It's just that this is the nearest WSOP circuit that comes, so a lot of people from the league went out and played.
Well, that's fun. Makes for some
Mhm.
fun story time when you get
Mhm.
back to your regular league night. Any notable hands in that tournament?
Um, in that tournament, the last hand, the guy on my right, he had pocket threes. Sorry, I didn't know this at the time. The guy on my right, he min raises, and he had joined the tournament thinking that it was a 1-day tournament, and so he had somewhere to be the next day. So he had basically told all of us that he was trying to bust at some point because he wouldn't be able to be here the next day. And so when I see him min raise and I look down at ace 9, I think this is a good place to isolate. So he raised to 30,000. I go all in for about 280,000. And I'm thinking that's a pretty good shove. I think I have a good read on him. Hopefully everyone else folds and I can just take this down. And then the guy 2 to my left, who has a huge stack, probably over 1,000,000. He asks for a chip count, and I'm thinking, "Oh, no."
Mm, yep. Sinking heart, right?
Yeah. So he ends up calling, and then the guy on my right ends up going all in as well. The guy on my right has pocket threes. The guy on my left has pocket kings.
Mm.
9 comes on the flop, but so does a king. So he knocks both me and the other guy out, and I'm thinking that was a pretty good read. I would have won, would have doubled up pretty much. So I think that was a good move overall. It's just you run into pocket kings. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I saw a photo of you during that first weekend's worth of tournaments, and you had some sunglasses that said all in. Is there any significance behind those sunglasses? I thought they were pretty unique.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber called Greg Goes All In. He has those glasses, he sells them, and I really like his content, and I thought, yeah, I need to get that. Wear it to like big events like that.
There you go. Way cool.
Mhm. I got a lot of compliments from him. Every time I
Nice.
went all in, I put them on, shoved my chips in.
They knew it was coming, right?
Yep.
That's cool. So then you had a second weekend of tournaments too, you said, right?
Yes.
Let's
The
hear about
second
that.
weekend, I played several tournaments. On Thursday, I played a $400 tournament. Um, that didn't last too long. Friday was the big one. That was a $1,700 buy-in. That was the main event. And I was doing okay. I think we started off with 400,000. I think I got above 400,000 a little bit, and then I got down to 35,000. And then I looked down at pocket aces. So I raise it up to about 1,200. Blinds are 244.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else at the table raises up to 3,700. And I'm thinking, great.
Right.
And then someone else raises to like 12,000. I'm thinking this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go all in with my 35,000. And if I don't get any callers, I get free money. If
Mm-hmm.
I do get callers, I'm ahead. So the first guy, he calls. The second guy folds. The guy who folded said he had ace king. And the guy
Mm.
who called has pocket kings.
Oh, perfect scenario.
Perfect.
I'm afraid to find out where this goes, but sounds wonderful.
Yeah. On the flop is a king, the case king. And
Yuck.
so that knocks out a big portion of my stack. I'm down to about 12,000 or so. And after that, I just kind of lose momentum.
Yeah, that
I,
just takes all the wind out of the sails, right?
yep, I start bluffing a little bit more and just running into bad spots, and I don't last too long. I, yeah, I think I went on tilt a little bit, and I think that affected me the rest of the weekend as well. I just kind of lost my patience.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That would be so frustrating. And unfortunately, you're not 100% winner pre-flop ever. So
Right.
you always have that chance you're not going to win the hand when you've got the best starting hand. But
Mhm.
it hurts.
It does.
Do you think so? You also played the FPN National Championship tournament in Vegas in January.
Mhm.
How would you compare the circuit event experience to the FPN Championship weekend experience? Because I've never done a circuit event. I'm curious. I'd like to do one.
Yeah, it was good. This year they implemented an app in the for the WSOP, and so that was pretty cool. You could find out exactly where your table was from that, and anytime there was a table movement, they just did it all on the app. And also when people got knocked out, it was pretty instantaneous. And so if two people got knocked out at once, the app made it clear like who got knocked out first or second, and it was very streamlined, I think. I did quite like that. But that being said, I do like the FBN tournaments. I've been to a few now, and it's good fun because everyone there is pretty much just like you. They play their bar tournaments and then they're here, and it's cool. It's a cool experience to meet people and people who are like you.
Do you think the players at the circuit event, I mean, did you run into those type of players that are like stoic, don't show any emotion, don't talk? I think that's something we don't typically see at the FPN National Championships, for example.
Right. I'm sure there was, but definitely the more lively, the more rowdy people stick in your mind more.
Okay.
So the more talkative people, the more fun people.
Yeah, and you had some of those at the circuit event?
Yeah, and that was nice.
Tell us about your experience at nationals this year. And you said that's not your first one? You've been to others?
Correct. This past January, those two were my third and fourth ones.
Oh,
So
okay.
the first year I went, I managed to get 12th overall. Uh, my second one, I didn't do very well at all. The third one, that's more recent. I can give you a bit more details. I started off with a 40K stack, but I was getting decent hands and then just missing the flop every single time. And so
Hmm.
I didn't last very long at all. But the fourth one, Sundays, I started off with a 20K stack and I managed to build that up. I think at one point I had about 65,000. I looked down at pocket kings. One person raises, another person, I don't remember if he just called or if he raised, but it was like just at the point where it's like, I don't like any amount besides all in. I don't think I'll get any callers, but I don't want to let them just limp in. So I went all in, and surprisingly, they both called. I think one had like ace 10 or something like that, and then one had pocket eights. And so I knocked both of them out. They only had a little bit less than me. So I basically tripled up there.
Nice.
After that, it felt pretty easy, just smooth sailing. I got several more knockouts. And then at one point, I think you came and sat down next to me.
Yeah.
And you can test this. I had a pretty big chip stack at one point.
Yeah. I called it the big slice of pie.
Yeah.
You had a nice triangle right in front of you that, yeah, I almost had to like reach way out to get my cards when they came.
Yeah,
It
I do
was
like to
nice.
organize my chips in
Yeah.
a little pyramid.
So what happened after that then? I know you must have been probably close to chip lead at that time.
I think so. Looking back on it, doing a little bit of math, I had 890,000.
Hmm.
So just shy of 900,000. And yeah, I do think I was chip leader at one point, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think because I had such a big stack, I felt compelled to make some looser calls than I would have liked. It's like, oh, that person made a small raise. I have king nine. I should call. And yeah, I just started giving it away a little bit. Um,
I felt like we at that time, if you were talking about the time where I was at the table, I
mm,
felt like we had a pretty tough table too. There were some
mm,
sizable stacks
yeah,
in
yeah.
other
I mean,
positions there too, so it wasn't gonna be easy to navigate, I don't think.
yeah, you and me both had quite a bit of chips, but yeah, there was definitely some other people with noticeable chips as well. And then uh, I managed to turn that 900,000 into 600,000. And then we get moved to, well, we get down to 3 tables, I think. And you and I get moved to the feature table. And I think at that point you had just more than me. I
Mhm.
think you had like 615,000 and I had 612,000.
Okay.
And I think that table was also tough.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, that was the feature table. You can look it up, but me, I just was getting marginal hands in bad spots.
Mm.
So I would get like a7 under the gun. It's like, I don't want to play that. And then I'd get king 10 and I'd think, this is a playable hand. And then someone else would go all in for $300,000. It's like, I don't want to play that either.
Right.
So yeah, we play for like an hour. A couple of people get knocked out. The lady on my left, she has quite a big stack. I think she's up to like 800 or 900 or even a million at one point. And I think she went on to get second overall. Yeah, eventually I look down at pocket nines and I think, okay, cool. this is it. And then you go all in. And
Oh,
yeah, I think, yeah, I'm not going to get any better than this. I don't want to keep waiting. So
main hand.
yeah, I go all
Mm.
in as well. You have queen 10. I have pocket nines. Flop comes down ace king 7, I think, followed by another 7, maybe, and then followed by a jack.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we had been chatting a bit before, and I figured I'd rather give it to you than
Well,
any of these other people.
kind words, but I still feel bad about it now as we
I mean,
rehash it.
sure, I would have liked to
Yeah.
take it, but
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling we probably were both not too deep as far as big blinds go and probably had to find a hand to make a move with. So,
yeah, we had less than 10 big blinds at that point.
yeah. So it kind of plays itself, but yeah,
Mhm.
you hate to knock out people that you've been sitting with and getting along with and,
Yeah,
kind of hope you both make it to heads up.
right.
Did you play anything else while you were out there in Vegas or did you just stick to the Free Poker Network's events?
Just the Free Poker Network events, but we did do some of the side events. I say we, me and my mom. I tried to convince her to do some because she's pretty new to this. She's only been doing this for a few months. And so we did the tag team together as well, which I believe you won.
We did. Yeah, that was really
Congratulations.
fun. Thank you. So, did your mom have a good time?
She did. Yeah, she enjoyed it. And
And are you guys going to the next one? Are you qualified?
I am qualified. Got one of the I got like second place in the FPN back in December for one of the nights I go to. So that's 10K. And I believe I just locked up Wednesday's first place.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
That'll be 20,000 more then.
Yes. And I'm
Well
doing
done.
well on Sundays as well. So hopefully I'll have
Fanta
the full 40K.
fantastic. I wouldn't mind sitting at the table with you again. I had a good time with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun.
So, how would you characterize yourself as a poker player? What kind of a style do you have? Aggressive, passive, tight aggressive? What kind of
I would
style?
go with tight aggressive, although I think some of the people I play with might think that I'm a bit looser.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do play some not good hands. There have been times when I've gone all in with 7 deuce, but that's more fun than anything else. Yeah, I definitely play aggressive, and I try to be a tighter player, but who knows if I really am.
I when I think back to the time I sat right next to you on that first table that we got together on, I thought you played really solid, applied pressure when it made sense to apply pressure. I mean, frankly, I wasn't looking to get into any hands with you with that chip stack you had, I'll be honest. So,
Yeah, the chip stack definitely helps.
yeah, and unfortunately, you were on my left, which I did
Mhm.
not love either, so I kinda had to judge if I thought you were about due to play another hand or not.
Right. You never want the big chip stack on your left.
No, exactly. What type of player is the most challenging for you to play against?
I would say loose players. I I also think I'm pretty decent at reading people. I'm not sure why exactly, but I have, like, picked up some tells before, and sometimes I just get a feeling about a certain hand. I'm just like, "That doesn't make sense," but with loose players, nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I just have a very difficult time reading them, and I don't know.
When you play these bigger events like this, do you get nervous at the table?
Uh Yeah, I definitely do, especially if I'm playing against older people, I think. Because, like I mentioned, I have only been playing this for a few years. And if I'm sitting with a table where some of them have been playing longer than I've been alive, that can be a bit intimidating.
Mhm.
Especially with like the WSOP circuit event. It can cost a bit of money. The 1,700 buy in, that is intimidating. When you go to the FPN Nationals, it's like, this one's $50, this one's $200. I can live with that.
Right.
But the bigger buy-ins, it definitely gets to my head a little bit.
How do you deal with the variance that you come across? I mean, we're we continue to get it in ahead, and it seems like we lose 90% of those hands. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, just try to tell myself, like, I might have lost this one, but if I'm 80% chance to win, that's just 20% of the time. The other 80% of the time, I'll be good. So the longer you play poker, the more that hand will come out ahead. And so just gotta focus on the positives, the future, and just try not to let that negative stuff get to you. It doesn't always work, but I don't know what else to do.
How do you prepare? Do you do any preparation for these bigger tournaments? Like just prior to playing, do you meditate or think about a strategy? What do you do?
I have a bunch of books, but I haven't been reading them as much as I would have liked. I think more than anything else, I just try to focus on playing tight. I don't want to open up my range too much. I don't want to bluff. Just sit back, watch the other players, watch how they're playing, and then try to capitalize on that. If you see a player raised pre-flop with 8-5 offsuit from middle position, okay, noted, that's a loose player. And I can open up his range quite a bit more. Whereas if someone else is going all in with pocket tens or better, probably don't want to get in a hand with him.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any superstitions or rituals or lucky charms when you play?
Not really, but I'd have to have like a chip protector of some sort. Like I don't have a specific chip protector.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have a chip protector covering my cards, I just feel naked.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just I feel vulnerable.
All right. That's interesting. When we go on to break, I might have to swipe your chip protector sometime if I'm at your table. Just see how you handle it.
Sometimes I bring two just in case.
No, okay. That probably won't work then.
And I do like to organize my chips, as you noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. When you look back at your poker journey so far, what's the moment you're most proud of? Even if it wasn't a big win, what are
Uh-huh.
you most proud of so far?
There have been a couple of hands where I felt like I really made the right read on someone. Basically, I think in both of the situations, I had like third pair on the river and someone else makes a big bet. And I just think about it for a while and then I finally made the call. One was the first time in nationals, and then another time was just at the one of the bar league games. And it's just like a huge hero call of I have third pair and they're representing something better. But I don't believe them. So I make the call and I'm right. Both of those situations were pretty cool. But
Do you know what it was about those that caused you to make those calls?
um yeah, the first time I noticed the player was very, very aggressive. And so when he had an ace, he would raise pre-flop. And basically there was I think I had 9-10. I get in the hand, he calls. Flop comes down like 9-7 deuce. So I have top pair. When he bets, I call. Queen comes on the turn, he bets, I call. Ace on the river, he makes another bet. And I just am thinking to myself, if he had an ace pre-flop, he would have called. And if he hit the queen on the turn, I think he would have went all in because I'd seen him go all in several times with top pair. And so I'm thinking to myself, is my 9 really good here? Is the 10 kicker good enough? And I eventually talk myself into a call. And I'm right, he had like 5-7, so he had fourth pair.
Wow.
And yeah, that felt amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then the other time, yeah,
So it
go
was
ahead.
kind of it sounds like a situation where the story just didn't add up, huh?
Right. That is how I think of it is,
Yeah.
does this story add up? And sometimes it doesn't, and I almost describe it as like an alarm bell going off in my head of like, I say to myself, I should fold. And then this little alarm goes off. And I'm like, let's think about this for a little bit. And so, yeah, I managed to talk myself into a call. Another time I had, I think it was like 9-8, and Jack 8-5 comes out on the flop. And so it just checks around. There's like 4 of us in the hand. And then another Jack comes out on the turn. 3 of us check, and the 4th person bets. And then fold. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have second pair. I'll call. And then on the river, comes a 10. I check, he goes all in, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, does he have a jack? And he's a good enough player where I don't think he would bet when he gets three of a kind, so I don't think he has a jack. Okay, would he do this with 10? Maybe, but he should be scared of the jacks. Does he have an overpair? Again, he should be scared of the jacks. Nothing really made sense unless it was a bluff, or I think he played a jack wrong. So I managed to call with my 9-8, and he had ace queen. And so I also felt pretty good about that. He
Yeah,
did.
another one.
He kind of blew up a little bit, but
No, that's that means you made the right. You made a really great call. Then, if they're blowing up on it, they thought they
yeah,
had.
and it's not like I make those decisions like that. I have to sit there for a minute or two and really, really think it through.
Yeah, when you were starting to tell that story, I was thinking that they probably had, fairly decent ace or something in that situation, and betting the two jacks that way would make some sense. Do you think you have any tells?
I'd like to think not, but I'm sure I do. I try to remain either really stoic
Uh huh.
or sometimes someone will look at me like trying to get a tell off of me.
Yeah.
And usually when that happens, I just smile and like laugh a little bit because I think I'm a pretty happy, cheerful guy. And so that comes easily. I think that covers up any tells that I have.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah. And I
Yeah, I
just
can.
like think to myself, like, if I'm in a tough spot, I just think, this is poker. This is great. This right here is what it's all about. And so that helps the smile come out a lot more.
Yeah, I think when I sat next to you to start with, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation happening at the table, but I kind of kept trying to talk to you, and eventually we had some good conversation, I thought, after
Yeah.
that. So yeah, but yeah, you did smile after that. I tried to get a read off you, and every time you just smiled at me, and I'm like, "Ah, that doesn't help me."
Yep.
So yeah,
Whether I have a good hand or whether I'm trying to pull a good bluff, I'm
right,
enjoying myself.
exactly. Do you see a mistake that a lot of people starting out playing poker make that you would suggest they look into correcting? Like a common mistake, maybe even that your mom makes?
Uh, Usually, like the very, very beginners, they once they get a good hand, they get overeager
Mhm.
and they'll just go all in. So I've seen it before with three of a kind. Um, I've seen it with quads, and as soon as they get it, they go all in. And it's like, what are you expecting here? Someone to call? That's what you would
Right.
like, but no one's gonna do that. Yeah, that's just unfortunate part of being new to poker, being excited and just getting eager.
Yeah. I think there's 2 sides to that coin too. I think sometimes they're going all in because they're overexcited and they're proud of it and wanna
Mhm,
show that hand that they got that's so great,
mhm,
and, they don't know what else to do but just go all in, and then I also think that some of the new players don't wanna lose with that premium hand
mm,
and aren't looking to extract all the value they can. They just wanna make sure it gets through and wins, so they go all in to push everybody out too. My wife and I have had conversations in the car ride home about how our approaches are different in situations like that. I like to think most of the time I'm trying to extract value out of those big hands because they don't come that often.
mhm.
And she has more so the approach of, I don't want to lose with pocket aces because they're supposed to win.
Yes. Yeah, I think with a good starting hand, that is fair, but with a good made hand, like a full house or better or something like that, I think you need to extract that value where you can.
Yeah. They just don't come along that often, unfortunately.
Mhm. There was one time where at one of the free poker leagues, or one of the bar games, there's like 5 or 6 of us in the hand. It's almost a family pot, and the flop comes down like 5, 7, 8 of hearts or something like that. And the first person to act, he just goes all in, and everyone else folds. He's like, "Guys, you're not gonna believe this." We're like, "I bet we can." And it was a straight flush, and so
Sure.
yeah, it's like you could have gotten a lot of money. That's a very good hand. That's a very bad way to play it.
Yeah. You would have got to show that hand if you'd have slow played it too.
Yeah, and we do high hand as well. So if you have 2 cards and then you get full house or better, you have to use both of them. It has to get to the river. You get some extra points for that. But that was on the flop. No one came along.
Missed out on that too.
Yep.
When you think back to when you started, what's one piece of advice you now wish that you could go back and give you starting out? that would have helped your game out?
Hmm.
Has your style changed much in the time that you've been playing?
I think I've gotten better at it. I think I've picked my places better of where to like make good moves, make bluffs and stuff like that. Yeah, I think when I was starting off, I don't really remember a whole lot of what was going on because everything was just so new to me. And so I'm not sure I could give myself any advice besides play more. The more you play, the more you understand, the more you understand the people that you're playing with or just players in general.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just the more you play, the more you absorb and the better you can reason through different actions.
Yeah. Do you bluff much, in your opinion?
Sometimes at the bar leagues, yes. When I actually sit down for bigger tournaments, I try to play tighter, and so I don't need to bluff as much. But if in the bar leagues, the time, the what is it? The line levels are a bit
Yeah.
shorter,
Yeah.
and you start with a smaller stack, so you really need to pick your moments better, and so you need to pick your more moments.
Yeah. Do you think the people you play against think you bluff a lot?
Some of them. They'll often make comments about me bluffing and stuff because, yeah, if I'm have position on someone else and I raised pre-flop, I will decide to bluff that usually. And so they'll say like, I should bluff more like Tim does. And then
Mm.
I'll usually comment back, what? I never bluff. Yeah.
Are there any shout outs you'd like to make?
Shout out to Hi. He's the guy who set up and runs the free poker league. Just very welcoming when I first came in, and just he really wants the success of his players. So yeah, he's a cool guy. Shout out to my mom because she got me into poker, and now I'm kind of leading her into poker. And then shout out to my buddy Joey. The first time that I went to the free poker league, I was a little bit nervous, so I was like, "Hey, Joey, do you want to come with me?" So
Sure.
just a little bit of boost of a confidence of just like going with someone else.
I think that about wraps it up. Thank you, Tim, for taking the time to join us today at the final table and sharing your poker stories along with the personal side of the game with our
Yeah,
audience.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and good luck with all your future tournaments, and hopefully have big scores. Going to be following along.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, everyone, if you enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to share, like, and subscribe so we can continue to share these interesting stories with poker fans all over the country. Until next time, be kind to others and live just a little bit lucky. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Joel.